Welcome back to Part B with Nick Auditore. In this half, we get into the behind-the-scenes madness of championship merch, player trades, NFL expansion into Australia, and why sports like NFL and Formula One are exploding right now. Enjoy.
Round 45!
Yeah. So you were saying that, like, in the stadium, let's go back to AFL Grand Final. You've printed 2,000 winning T-shirts for both teams.
Yep.
How do you guarantee that the team that loses, those T-shirts don't accidentally slip out of the stadium? How does that work? Like, surely that's a nightmare for you.
I know. I have seen it.
Yeah.
You see it with the Super Bowl, and you get jerseys or shirts that end up in Taiwan or whatever. You're like, hang on a minute, why was this?
I mean, we try and you try and ask for certification. I mean, a lot of the time with Nike in particular, obviously we as an add-on we represent Nike in making all their jerseys, and we'll provide them documentation that we've destroyed the product that night and what have you. So it's all certification. But yeah, I mean, in future state, we've been talking at a meeting last week at the AFL. It's like, with AI now, do you inevitably create simulations of, well, what happened if Collingwood did win, say Collingwood lost that grand final, but what's a version of events if Collingwood did win that grand final? And could we then continue to sell that merchandise, but we could also sell a video and content that shows Collingwood winning that game? So then there's opportunistic upside. They didn't win it. So, because that's the whole thing with fake media and what have you, which is a big part of the last couple of years. Maybe we can create two different forms of simulation where we get upside on merchandising both levels. The TV broadcasters can sell those TV, snippets as if they did win the grand final. And what does that look like with AI? So it's going to be an interesting
Next few years.
Yeah.
Do you ever sit say that grand final? I was there, Brisbane, Collingwood. Are you sitting there, kind of going, you know what? Collingwood's got 100,000 members. Brisbane's only got about 55.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean,
I know who I'd want to win if I was supplying.
Brisbane Grand Final is on average worth about $450,000, and a Collingwood Grand Final is worth $4 million. So the delta is.
So who do you want to win there? I'm still not
so
sure.
you've hated the past 3 years? There's been a three-peat for the Lions?
I think no disrespect to Collingwood, to Gold Coast Suns and GWS, but that's a heart palpitation moment for me when those guys start winning grand finals. In trying to maximise what that grand final win is. It's a spare a thought for me, I guess.
I'll be praying.
Yeah.
Another question I've got for you, which it's very topical at the moment because we're heading towards it, like things like the NFL draft or even the NBA draft, any major sporting draft, where like jerseys need to be turned around in a very quick time because and it's pretty much on the clock. Like, how does that look like for you?
Usually we'll take a blank jersey for all. How many teams are there now?
32.
32. Is that including the NFL team? And we'll take the tackle twill and then they'll press it on the day with the machinery. So the machinery's already there, and then we'll just press.
Is that the same with the hat? Because I know at the draft they walk out, the hat's ready to go.
Yeah, they press them all. It's all patches and embroidery machines and heat press machines that we do for the numbers. So for the game in the next, obviously for September, we're still waiting to see, who are the final teams. Is there any player trades that we need to be aware of? And then if that is the case, then we press locally. We charge the consumer for it though, which is it's not an ACCC issue, but it costs like for the NBA. I mean, you sell a jersey at the NBA that's already done for 135, but if it hasn't been done and you're buying a blank jersey, you're going to pay another $40 to press a number in the stores and what have you. So the consumer's somewhat annoyed about that, but. I mean, it's not...
That's the whole thing about beginning it. You're paying for I want it tomorrow.
I mean, that's the beauty of AFL, right? They don't put the player names on the jerseys, which is, inevitably, maybe they get there. But at this point, it's a different beast.
So how much of a nightmare is it when a player gets traded? Like, especially if, like, players are on trade blocks all the time, like AJ Brown for the Eagles at the moment.
Yeah.
Clearly on the trade block. So, like,
Yeah.
you can kind of see the writing on the wall. But for players that, like, snap instantly get traded, like a good example, like Luka going to the Lakers,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
No one saw that coming.
Yep.
Like, that was real out of the blue.
Yep.
How does that all look for you?
Do you have someone up during the night watching this? Like, shit, he's just been traded. Fuck, shit
Usually,
happened.
like, every year we get like a list of high risk, and high risk players they get produced right on the cusp of the season starts. So if they're a high risk player, then we'll tend to deliver the product later into the Australian market. So that's why there's a slowing of demand. But I mean, using an example of Tom Brady in Tampa Bay, I mean, that was a diabolical disaster for us because obviously he was playing, and then I had about 15,000 jerseys coming, and then he's announced his retirement, and then he re-signed with Tampa, was it? Was that what he retired, then he re-signed? Was it Patriots?
Yeah, he was on the beach. Remember, he retired on the beach and then came back?
Yeah, I mean, like we're sort of sitting there with 15,000, so it's call it a $1.2 million disaster. And you're sort of thinking, okay, well, maybe I'll sell that as a retired player jersey in, 6 years, because we can't sell them. It takes 6 years to sell a retired player jersey before the leagues allow it. So I'm thinking I'm sitting on $1.2 million worth of stock of this bloke. And then, so I'm sort of, I'm talk about anxiety. And then he turns around and he reinstates, and I'm playing and I'm back and blah, blah, blah.
But I'm playing for Tampa.
Yeah, but I'm playing for Tampa. And then you sort of go, okay, fuck, great. So you're constantly trying to figure out the mechanic of that. And LeBron with the number change from 23 to 6, disaster, because you sort of booked all the 23s and then he goes to 6. And then we're hearing Anthony Davis is changing numbers. Like, we're constantly in, free fall. And then you then end up selling the jerseys for 2 cents and trying to get out of them. So I'm still sitting on, OKC jerseys of Westbrook when he changed. I'm still sitting on, there's so many of them that you're constantly in high risk on. So NFL is less of a concern than NBA. NBA is the biggest one. And addressing Luka, sometimes Luka wasn't really selling a lot in his past team, but Lakers, he takes on a whole other energy, and you sort of go, well, maybe the upside in that is actually good, so that's been good. And, Giannis, does he go to Miami? Does he not? Him as a Miami player is, triple the business for us for him playing for the Bucks. So we're always looking at that going, all right, you took some loss, but you get some gains.
We'll use Giannis as an example. There's 3 or 4 teams that are a chance. Are you mocking up for each team, and then if and when it happens, you just go bang,
it's
execute
already
that
designed.
one?
Like, it's already designed. I mean, as an example, we've nearly designed the AFL Premiership at the moment. That we're working on that right now.
Yeah, we're in week 6.
Yeah, we're week 6. I mean, like you sort of start planning out 12 to 13 teams already. So that's how far ahead we're working. We're working, Super Bowl tees we're working on now for next year, and what the artwork looks like and the layout. And then we just plug in the names as we get there. So it's that far ahead.
Super Bowl, I know you haven't been in it for that long, but, 20 years ago, they used to have, like looking at this one, they used to have iconic logos.
Yep.
Now they're a little bit more generic.
Yeah.
Is that and that's got a lot of colours on it, not that a shirt, obviously.
Yeah.
But with the colours and things like that, are you looking at those and being like, shit, the purple and green one, that's going to be a nightmare to work with compared to, like, these old ones are epic.
we like, every colour costs money, right? So sometimes we're trying to design. There's certain retailers have got. We don't want to buy a T-shirt that's over $49. I mean, that's a black and white print. It's 3 colours as a base. It's black and white. But then my designers turn around and throw all that colour on the back, and now I'm into 15 colours, and the T-shirt's gone from costing me $6 to make to $15 because I've got so many screens. So we're always thinking about not just given the market good designs, but the amount of money we can somewhat make on it without over-designing them. The nostalgic designs that you see with these champions from 96 and whatever, we usually do all that with Mitchell & Ness. Mitchell & Ness can drive a higher price point. Most of the hats are $59, $69. T-shirts are $89. Yeah, sort of how we try and keep the nostalgia in.
Looking at this hat, I didn't realise Los Angeles Raiders.
Yeah.
Not many people would be knowing about those ones.
Yeah.
How are you? Oh, that's elite. I love that.
Yeah.
But how are you with like this jersey per se, Brett Favre?
Yeah.
How are you picking and choosing which teams and which players are we going to go with that nostalgia look? Is it harder than you just pick the legends from back in the day?
Like we've got a lot of guys. I mean, a lot of people within my business work in. They breathe it like you guys. They're loyalists and they're fans. So when we're thinking about authentic jerseys like that jersey, the brands usually give us that jersey exists because of the moment that's happening in that year, whether or not it's 96 or 98.
Yeah.
And that jersey will come back to life because it's an anniversary jersey.
Super
The
Bowl
25th
anniversary
year or
and
the
things.
30th year or what have you. Then it'll come with marketing. We've worked with the player. A lot of the time we're working with the player. The player's got to sign off on everything. So they see it, they touch it, they feel it. And we've got historians that work within most of the brands that they find the exact material, the exact fit, the wash. I mean, might have looked better on the player than it does on you.
I'll put a few pads on. I'll be right.
Oh, you look pretty good at it. But, that's it's all an influence of it, yeah.
Someone's.
Oh, that's me, yeah.
Oh,
That's Brett Favre.
it's gone. You know what? It looked better on me back in the day. But what's next, whether it's in the NFL, like what do you see in the next 6, 12, 18, 2 years? Like, is NFL still the beast that is growing?
Yeah, I mean, NFL, well, the hope is that, more teams are picked up by Australian consumers, that it's, and that's what seems to be happening is it's been, your key teams have evolved from Green Bay Packers, Dallas Cowboys, San Francisco 49ers, New England Patriots. But now you're starting to see the tails starting to come in, and that's what the league want. The league want to see all 32 teams in the Australian market visually on display in retailers. So, our goal, whether or not it's Cotton On buying teams or Kmart or Target or Culture Kings, the end game is how many teams can we get for the Australian consumer to be able to acquire? Because it's not just the Dallas Cowboys, Green Bay Packers it was for us back in 96. It's now how do we get more teams? I think the games, obviously, it's not one game. There's going to be multiple games. And whether or not that becomes national and you start talking, Queensland and New South Wales and starting to get the energy of that into those other states will help the growth of the NFL. But yeah, the NFL's surging, in regards to what those guys are doing. And, you said earlier MLB, and where does MLB sit? I mean, MLB has been driven so heavily on Yankees and Dodgers, and they attempted to do games in the market, 10 years ago. They did the one game in Sydney and have sort of come and gone. But then you're starting to see other sports like WWE doing Perth last year, and the energy now coming out of WWE. And I think you talk to the domestic sports in NRL and the AFL, and what's their threats and where they see the concerns. It's that you've got other sports now that kids, through social content, can get into sports quicker, and their threat is other sports, and it's predominantly US sport. And whether or not that's US sport or not, European global, Formula One, WWE, what's happening in college sport now for kids, and then watching NCAA over everyone as when you and I as kids or whatever, cricket and football. Cricket and football, and maybe we watch the World Cup. Now you got so much options, so much access to sport, that it's competitive for who's going to take the space. I mean, at the moment, I'm selling sports licensing to a retailer like Universal Store. They've got 15 SKUs, or we call it a SKU as one product type. They can buy 15 things, whether or not it's NFL, NBA, and they all, at the moment, their mindset is they start with Formula One and Nissan, and now they're buying into that. Now you got another sport that's coming up in Formula E. They've got Jaguar, Porsche, like all this stuff that's cool that's coming out of that. Then you get, Roman Reigns in WWE, or what's his name, the blonde guy,
Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes. There's so many options, and then you get into NFL, and you're like, okay, cool. There's 3 or 4, so it's going to be really it's so competitive now to get that shelf space, because at the end of the day, those retailers, there's a licensing sports proposition in all these retailers, but it's only got X amount of shelf space that they're willing to sort of give it. So, in the past, NBA was just your immediate box tick, but now they're losing ground. So it's gonna be an interesting time.
So there's an official NBA store in Melbourne. What are the chances of an official NFL store? Are we getting close to that point now with how much the NFL's growing?
There's going to be an NFL store in Melbourne CBD for the game. And that's,
is that a pop up though? We want to physically.
Yeah,
I want to go there and pick up
balls. Well, it is a pop up, and that'll be live for sort of 4 weeks, and I think that's a great test case as to what's the sort of revenue that can do, and obviously it's inflated during that period of time. But Lids store in Australia, and the evolution of Lids and Lids locker room, they'll have a big NFL footprint moving forward. And whether or not Lids locker room in Australia ends up being 20, 30 doors, then that'll be a great start of it. And no doubt, NFL store could be definitely here. NBA has the luxury of the NBL, and so there's a sort of NFL guerrilla grassroots needs to continue to keep building.
Is that where flag kind of comes in?
Yeah, I reckon it does. Maybe I think that's probably the angle. It's like we've gone always to the core guys that play on the weekends in about 10 teams in NFL. So now take it younger and get those kids in young. And mate, the power of the Olympics, and what happens with the Olympics, will be insane.
Well, yeah, because I think that part of the push of what Roger's doing here is he wants flag to be in the 2032 Olympics. He wants it to be in Brisbane. And I wouldn't be surprised, if we get a 2026, 27, 28 game at the MCG. I wouldn't be surprised if one near the 30s is in Brisbane, just to try and push the growth of the game there, to try and keep flag in the Olympics moving forward.
Yeah, and they're having all those conversations now. That's all happening.
Like you said before, everyone thinks it's a 2-month decision.
Yeah.
This Melbourne game's been...
it's been
we've known Charlotte for going on 5 years now, and she was talking about it back then.
Yeah, I know. Who would have thought even the Pelicans coming out here with the NBA last year? That was never going to happen, and you've had an NBA team turn up, and there'll be another one this year that shows up, which hasn't been announced yet, but that'll happen. There was an NHL game here, as well last year. I don't know if the ice is melting or what have you, but they're all coming, and obviously if we can put 3 or 4 games together over the next couple of years, it's going to be huge. So
Would in that being the next... This is more for people to try and understand if there's... For you, would it be better to have, San Fran and Rams again? Or do you want different teams so it continues to grow the market that way? Or...
Yeah, are we talking is it the Collingwood effect? Do you want the same big markets to keep on coming? Or do you want...
Spread the markets.
Or spread the wings further? The wings, the birds.
What's the corporate spill that I should give you?
I want to give you a beer so you can talk.
Loosen those lips.
We're super excited about San Francisco 49ers getting announced. We heard that it was Raiders. We were somewhat concerned on some of the, no disrespect, but, Arizona is not going to do the dollars that a Rams or a Raiders or and obviously Seattle with the Super Bowl put them on the radar, but traditionally haven't been super commercial. Selfishly, I'd love the most commercial teams to continue to turn up to Australia. A Raiders, Dallas Cowboys, whether or not they fall on the same side of the draw, and obviously that was the challenge with the guys, wasn't it? Was how those teams all lined up on the draw on that side of it, but. West Coast teams coming over here is definitely going to be easier for the teams, isn't it, for round 2?
Yeah.
Did you find out at the same time as everyone else, or did you have an inside word?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Yeah. Like, I mean, Super Bowl that week, right? Well, obviously, the Rams, everyone knew, but San Francisco 49ers was late. But, yeah, great result. What's his name? Irwin announced that.
Oh, yeah, Robbie.
And he was the first one. And then, we just go to work. And, you look at San Francisco 49ers, I mean, a black-based T-shirt, right? So I love that. Selfishly, obviously if we do them in red, but, black is easier as opposed to browns and all these other colours. It's challenging because we've got to dye all that. We want the
easy way.
Yeah. Well,
Cleveland have just got a big cross through them.
Just the least amount of inventory risk is always the goal. Nike will do a great job in the product that they'll have in the Australian market for the game. Obviously, there's 3 stores they're going to activate in Melbourne CBD during that, and Nike will have trams and everything sort of coming to life. So Melbourne will be a great experience for obviously your fans that listen. My understanding is there's 10 to 15 retired players that are coming out. So they'll all do, signings.
You're sitting where you're sitting.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll get the names of those in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll start building products for them, and hopefully commercialise it. Selfishly, we're trying to commercialise it. But then
you say selfishly. I hope you commercialise it as well. I want those. I want like a salute to service jersey for the Packers and all those kind of things. So I know everyone and the cynical people will be like, "Oh, you just want to make $1 out of it." But this is just helping. It's the old, the tide rises for all boats kind of thing. If it grows for you, it grows for us. It grows for they get to see more of the product. So I know you feel selfish, and people are going to say you're selfish, but you're just the lead for everyone to start to grow. And I don't sound like I'm just kissing your ass, but it's got to start somewhere, and you start the trend and get it moving for everyone.
I mean, I love the fact of you see retailers accessible. You think about Kmart and Target and Best and Less, and obviously times are tough, right, at the moment, and money's not easy. No. And for families,
it cost me $120 to get here.
Like families, you want everyone to have the ability to buy products. And the fact that a family can go in and buy a $24 T-shirt for their kid in NFL in a Kmart or a Target or a Best and Less is great. As opposed to I can only go to Culture Kings and I can only spend $79 to buy a T-shirt. And I think that's what the leagues want. The leagues want the ability for any fan, whether or not they're a super fan like you guys, or whether or not their kid loves it because they live in Mount Druitt and they want to go and buy a T-shirt. And what a great result, And that's not just apparel. That's you want every kid to be able to hold an NFL footy and flick it around at home on the couch. So accessibility is key as well. And that's my job, to sort of try and build product that allows consumers, to buy it. Now, you don't make as much, but what we sometimes do, because, your Kmart's, the biggest customer probably for NFL and in Australia is the Family Channel accounts, where they're buying 40, 50,000 T-shirts. Versus what you and I see on Culture Kings or in Rebel, which the orders are only really 200 or 300 units. But it looks flashy and blingy and what have you. But the reality is we've got all these kids now in West Sydney wearing T-shirts that they bought in Kmart. Not saying West Sydney is where they shop for Kmart, but just nationally.
Yeah. You're not getting many players come out to do signings at Kmart, eh? They're going to Culture Kings.
I think Jordan Malata's that good a guy that he'd go anywhere, it's just wherever the best activation can be provided for a player. And to be honest, like Kmart and Target will come to life during the games, where a lot of their city-based stores will have windows and activations and everything for the game. So, they'll do their bit, and it'll probably be more meaningful than, what someone else does.
The game will be more blue and red because of those kind of guys.
Yeah,
the kids
totally.
that are going to go.
And that's as it should be. Like, even, I know you were saying before you wear your package. No chance. We've got to be in either. I reckon we'll go 1-1. One of us in the Rams, one of us in the 49ers. We'll play rock, paper, scissors for it.
The amount of money we're going to pay for you, mate, you're going to do well off this podcast for sure. But
Good.
mate, like I said, it's been 12 months in the making getting you in here, and it's been unreal for me. And Danny, I'm sure you're much the same, but can't thank you enough for coming in, and hope it's not the last time. We want to get you in here before the game and have another chat about how good everything is and how much we love NFL in Melbourne.
Yeah, thank you.
Actually, there's one thing I want to settle. Settle a bet for me, because a lot of people are saying that why they pick Melbourne and the MCG and things like that. Whereabouts, I'm sure you'd have an idea in Australia where the best selling is. So is Melbourne the best, sporting capital of Australia? Put your pressure to finish. Last question, go with a bang.
I think there's that, I would say that there's a strong link with NRL and NFL. I think the game and the style so, I think New South Wales is probably I know I haven't done the work from the data to sort of suggest.
Nice
that,
answer.
I haven't done the work to suggest it. I mean, but I'd like to think that New South Wales and has been where it's at in regards to particularly the growth out of West Sydney. But then you sort of see Queensland and what's happening up there with the growth. I look at just retail in Australia at the moment, and all the action is happening in Queensland and New South Wales and Western Australia. Victoria's obviously been battling coming out of COVID, and it's tough to make money in retail in Victoria, but it's definitely, WA, Queensland, New South Wales. So maybe that Sydney game,
that was not the answer I was hoping for.
You laid it up too, and it just got slapped straight back at you.
Yeah. I mean, I live in Melbourne, right? But I love Sydney.
But that could also, Jordan Mailata effect, like you said. The fact that we've got such a legend of the sport, and he's so giving in every single way, and being a big West Sydney man, doesn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah, I love the show of Sydney. The spectacle, the content that could be created out of that city would be insane. But
It's iconic.
yeah, and I mean, I think Charlotte will make those decisions over the next couple of years as to where you guys or where we all end up. But it's great that they're obviously committing to more games. Which is good for me.
It's good for us.
So play on. All right, well, thanks for having me. I appreciate
Absolutely
it.
brilliant, mate, and we'll see you around.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.